Hello and welcome to your lesson on explaining interdependence within the savanna. We're going to look at the words biotic and abiotic to begin with, then describe the food chains and food webs that exist within the savanna, and then we're going to look at what the word interdependence means and some examples. The equipment that you need for this lesson are on the slide. Make sure you get it all together and let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is reflect on the meaning of these two very key words, biotic and abiotic. I would like you to look at the pictures and try and work out what these words mean. In the left-hand side of the slide, you've also got a stop, think, SMSC box to be reflecting on. Pause the video for about 20 seconds and think about those three things, what the two words mean and the SMSC box. Okay then, let's see if you got it right. So biotic is a living thing, plants and animals, and abiotic is the non-living things that biotic things rely on. For example, climate, soil, water, and oxygen. Biotic things and abiotic things interact, and together they make something called an ecosystem, and then a large ecosystem is a biome. And the biome we're focusing on today is the savanna. To start us off then, we're going to be drawing a table on our whiteboards or a piece of paper, and you're going to watch the video that is attached to this slide, and I would like you to come up with as many biotic and abiotic features that you can see in that video as possible. For secure, I would like you to think about what the most important abiotic features are on the table and why. Abiotic, remember, being non-living. And then for mastered, what would affect the relationship between abiotic and biotic features in this biome? Okay, can you pause this slide and continue with this activity? Okay, let's see if you've got some of those things then from that video. So you should have a tree. A tree would be biotic because it is living. You may have seen a waterfall, which would be abiotic because it is non-living. Lion, biotic because it is living. Giraffe, biotic because it is living. Rocks, abiotic because they are non-living. We're now going to look at food chains and food webs, and specifically the food chains and food webs of the savanna. So, a food chain is one set of links between what eats what. In this case, we have grass that's being eaten by a zebra, that's being eaten by a hyena. Food chains and food webs always start with something that can make its own food. These are normally green or plants and trees that can make their own food and therefore begin the food chain. Without these things, then the whole food chain would not exist. Please note that the arrows in a food chain go into what is doing the eating. It's showing you the direction of the energy and where the energy is going. Now we've looked at food chains, which is one set of links. We're now going to look at food webs, which is multiple set of links of what eats what. So grasses and the acacia tree produce their own food, and therefore they begin the food chain or food web. We call these producers. Then the first thing that eats the producer is known as the primary consumer. So for example, zebra, antelope and giraffe are all primary consumers, as would be an insect if they were part of this food web. And then we have a secondary consumer as the consumer that eats the primary consumer, and these are normally meat eaters, so carnivores because they eat meat. And then you have a tertiary consumer and even a quaternary consumer as you get higher up in the food chain, but we're just going to focus on these today. There is a yellow Stop Think SMSC box at the bottom of this page. And what I would like you to do is complete the quiz on WordWall and take a picture of your score to demonstrate your understanding of food chains and food webs. Also, for mastered, I would like you, instead of doing the WordWall quiz, have a look at the quiz and then complete your own version with the answers using your own research about a food web in the savanna. Can you take a picture of your score or of your quiz and upload it to class charts? Here is the Stop Think SMSC box again for you to reflect on. Please pause the video now. For our next part of the lesson then, we're looking at interdependence, and what this means is how different things rely on or depend depend on each other. This can be biotic and abiotic things, depending on relying on each other as well. For example, in the savanna, we have got soil, grasses, and grass. Now, the soil is interdependent with the grass because the grass needs the soil to grow, and without dead grass decomposing, the soil won't have any nutrients in it. The giraffe, therefore, is also interdependent with the soil because without the soil, it wouldn't have any grass to eat. The grass is also interdependent with the giraffe because the giraffe provides nutrients for the soil when the giraffe either goes to the toilet or dies. So all of these things, abiotic and biotic, depend and rely on each other. So therefore they are interdependent. There is a stop think SMSE to think about. How are people affecting interdependence in the savanna? What are they doing to destroy or impact interdependence? You're going to be taking a picture of the activities you do for the next 2 slides. So you're going to complete the 2 activities, take a picture, and then upload it to class charts. What you need to do is watch this video, which shows you an abiotic feature that has changed in The Lion King. You're then going to use the food web to complete one of these 3 activities: developing, secured, or mastered. Can you please choose which activity you are doing, pause the video, and then you'll have your second activity to do on the next slide. Please pause the video now. Your second part of that activity then is to choose a character from The Lion King and to label them, what part they play in the food web, and then to give an example of how they depend on at least 2 biotic and abiotic features. So that could be for biotic, 2 other animals, and for abiotic, it could be the soil and the rain. Remember that you're taking a picture of the last 2 activities. Well done for your participation in today's lesson. I've had a really good time teaching you. You now need to look at the 2 things that you need to upload, so the interdependence questions and your score in the food web word wall game or the mastered quiz that you made instead. Can you take a picture of those 2 things, upload it to your class charts, and have a fantastic day? Thank you.